What's the funniest thing that's happened in a game of football?
Funniest one that didn't involve me, I'm not going to name the team, but I had a Scottish Cup match and came out for the second half. I'm counting here 11 players, 11 on that side, get to 10. Like, the 11th is missing. I just noticed one of the players running back towards inside. Like, where's he going? I'm literally about to kick off. Don't know where this player's going. And then I hear the manager going, where's he going? One of the boys, I think he needs a toilet. Alright, he does a favourite toilet. Do we wait for this guy? I don't know what's happening here. And then his assistant manager goes running in to find out what's happening. And the next shout was, have we got a spare pair of shorts? So I can only assume he had an accident and he didn't make it to the changing room in time. And the answer was they didn't have a spare pair of shorts and he got subbed. And I didn't see him again. So I don't know what happened to him.
I take that to the same rules, blood, no shite either.
Aye, no. If that's what happened, that would not be coming back on. So I can only assume that's what happened to him.
Episode 68. I'll get an introduction for everyone in a second, but Football Journals is sponsored by Planwell Roofing, Pinefield Glass, AMP Plumbing and Heating, SSS and Bro Windows, CK Travel Trade, Main Motors, and we're partnered with the Moray and Banff Referee Association. That's who we've got in tonight. Yeah. Harry, Stuart, Megan, how we doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you for having us.
No, you're more than welcome. I got a message, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. I'm all for like growing the local game and that. Like my involvement in welfare, women's football and all that. I'd just like to see the area doing good. I'm a big fan of the Highland League as well. It's the reason we've got this podcast to where it is because of the Highland League. So I always start off the same, and I'll go with you first, Megan. How good a footballer were you as a kid?
Not great, I would say, but like I suppose I started off like probably little kickers is what it'd be called now. Like I started off there. I think Dad always wanted a boy, but he got me instead. So I suppose close enough. Started off there, and then I suppose like most girls, when you get to high school, you probably fall off. So kind of through school, didn't really pick it up, and then kind of as I got to the end of secondary school, we managed to get a team of girls, so we did a few tournaments. I think we were probably the worst team, but I suppose we had fun.
Right, that's fun.
Yeah, not great, but I suppose that's why I'm a referee.
Give it your best effort. Yeah,
we did, that's for sure.
Stuart?
Mince.
Same here.
Basically grew up with the school football and stuff like that, and then ended up hurting my knee and that, take me down the route of looking to go coaching and then into refereeing, but football was never really my strong suit.
Harry?
Yeah, probably the same, which is why I took up the refereeing route, to be fair. So, I mean, I thought it was relatively decent enough at school football, and then, like say, your boys' league and stuff, absolutely loved my football. You were playing every single week, and then ended up at Elgin as a youth level, but I was a goalkeeper, and I could hardly touch the crossbar, and I probably still struggle to. So that's about as far as I got to, and then sort of finishing off in the youth football, went into sort of welfare, and that's when I ended up in refereeing. So
just like that,
yeah.
Seen it for both sides. It's good though, because sometimes if they're getting into referee, have never played football themselves, and you've got to have that other side of it.
Yeah.
See things as footballers would as well as referees. Not that it'll change your minds, like, but it's good to have it from both angles. Right, we're going to get a wee bit into how. Probably what teams you support going by this. Football idols. So
idols sort of growing up. I mean, for me, I watched loads of football growing up. It was just constant. It was like your life. And for our early 2000s, watching Man United, the Fergie era, sort of followed Fergie down to Manchester and seeing the sort of early 2000s Man United team, 2008, probably Wayne Rooney was probably the one that stood out for me growing up. That's who I sort of used to love watching. And even you look back at, like, I say I followed Man United as a kid, but you look back and you see like your Chelseas, your Arsenals, all these teams, that boys that you maybe didn't like at the time, you look back and you see like your Drogba, your Vieiras, all these sort of boys, like, it was all just amazing to watch. So that's whole sort of Premier League, the Barclays era, you say, of just that whole
golden era almost. Stuart?
Chasing that golden era was the one, like, but you can't forget about Kaka, Ronaldinho, and to be honest, the Scottish football for me is Nacho Novo. But
you know what? He was a pain in the arse, but he was a good player. Like,
Kane how to strike a football.
Aye.
Yeah, just
Scorer important goals as well.
Aye, massive. A game at Florentina, when they were at Florentina away,
Or shy.
putting them into the Europa, it was the Europa League final, wasn't it? Went into the Europa League final with them and then got beat by Shakhtar. No,
it was
Zenit St.
That
Petersburg.
was when Arshavin played for them.
Aye.
That's right. Megan.
I suppose I only really grew up watching Elgin City, so maybe not to the same degree. I remember my favourite player was Paul Miller, purely because he was the tallest footballer. That was my only reason. So him, I suppose.
That's mad. I met him once and I'm like, you genuinely like looking up at him and it's like, this guy can play football as well.
That was one of the. I was training with Elgin at the time when he was a striker, and I remember doing like crossing drills, and I was getting nowhere near him. I'm jumping with my hands up, and he was still winning every header over me. So that was why it was never going to work for me.
And that was a mad fact that went about in the leagues for a while, that he was the tallest player going. Like, you just didn't see that enough. Right. Stuart, we'll start with you. What was your first involvement in any sort of reffing?
So I started off, it's actually quite an interesting story to be honest. I started off at the boys league. So I went in with one of my friends to take a team coaching wise, and there was just never any referees. So what you basically had to do, you had to get a coach or a parent to ref it. Obviously there was two of us happened to be there, so I stepped in the middle. And then what happened from there was the boys club actually came to me and went, what we'll do is we'll put you through your course. So we'll basically put you through your refereeing course, and then what to do is give us a couple of years and just come and help us out. I was like, go for it, and that was the start of my refereeing. That's how I basically made the switch from deciding. Like, it was never an idea to start refereeing. It was never a thing, and I just started doing it there, and that was it. It just changed for there, and that was it.
It's mad.
7 years ago, and now I'm stuck.
Once you're in, you kind of get
That's
out.
it.
That's it. Harry.
It's quite a similar one to Stuart actually. So when my dad was a referee, so he still does on and off. He's getting a bit old now, but I used to go, like I say, boys league. Used to love my boys league in the summer and whatnot. And my dad was referee, and he was down doing a boys league game one night, and I just went down to watch, just to something to do, watch football. And there was one of the referees, they were either short or someone hadn't turned up, and one of the games needed covered, and they were, oh, you're here, you've not got a game tonight, your dad's refereeing, just take one of his whistles. And I was like, nah, not a chance. It was Mike Christie actually. Mike was like pushing for me, and I thought, I'll give it a go. So gave it a bash. I was like, that seemed alright. And then following week, they're short again. Okay, I'll help out again. And then I would have been 15 or 16 at the time. So at the time when I was maybe realising I wasn't going anywhere as a player, and thought, this is maybe an option to take. And then the following year I turned 16, I thought, I'll give this course a bash, and there we go. I've never really looked back since.
That's mad. Megan, what's your first?
So I did the course during COVID, so I suppose shut in the house, had nothing better to do. My dad was police, like a lot of the referees are, so I think he heard about it through them, and obviously decided I had nothing better to do with my time than sit and do the course. I did that every week, every Tuesday. Gave me something to look forward to.
Is that back in the online course?
Yeah, we did it over Zoom. And I didn't really expect anything to come from it, but I thought, breaks up my week a bit.
It's a bit mad, like a course over Zoom. How does that work? Like, is it just like a tutor on the other end, or?
So like, essentially it's just a PowerPoint presentation is all we would ever do over a certain amount of weeks, and we thought, well, why not give it a bash? We can just do it screen share and get a group of people, and it actually seemed to go better than some of the face-to-face courses. I think some people had thought it was less effort to have to go to Borough Briggs or Bucky or whatever we were hosting it, and they could just sit in their own living room with a laptop, and a lot of people cottoned onto it. And then since we've done that, just because it was COVID, you had to stay at home, and then since that we've kind of stolen that idea and used it ever since, because folk were enjoying being able to just stay at home and learn at the same time.
Bit less a commitment for people as well, isn't it?
Nothing worse than thinking about you hate to go and do something after work. You get home, you get in a shower, and then I've got to go out and then go and sit and listen to me or Harry drivel on for an hour.
I suppose if it's online, it's a bit less daunting as well, for getting involved.
I think that definitely did help, and I think quite a lot of like the people on my class are still active, which we've probably struggled like later on to keep people. So it maybe was better. I don't know.
Brilliant. Right, I'm going to give you a question I didn't put in. Who's the best referee you've worked with? Stuart.
Duncan Nicholson. That big dunk is really good. I've only been at one once, but just from start to finish, he's just on it the whole time. But he's brand new. you can speak to him about literally anything.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in that changing room, he's calm as anything. No pressure, no nothing. He's brand new with you. Any little tips and tricks he's got, he'll help you out with. But Duncan would be a shout for me.
Brilliant. Harry.
Well, Adam will be hoping for a shout out here for the final last week. But trying to think out of the guys, have been a lot of the Cat 1s, you know, being in games in the SPFL and stuff.
Yeah.
Guys that have gone up there, say Duncan from up here is one of the ones that go far. I don't know if I've actually been on a game with Duncan though.
Have you ever been on a game with your old man?
Yep, quite a few times actually. I think in my early days I'd run his line at like a welfare game, and when it went to cup finals and whatnot, and he's done a couple of my lines in the Highland League as well. So I've had a few outings together.
Yourself, Megan?
Maybe Abby Hendry.
Abby, yeah.
Okay, right, yeah.
I mean, it's nice we don't get to do an awful lot of like women team officials, so it's always nice to get a full team out. Yeah, and Abby's been great at the times.
It's becoming more popular though. You are seeing a lot compared to even 6 years ago when I just started coaching and things like that. The amount of, I'd say maybe a third of our games are female referee. We don't have linos, but yeah, about a third of our games a season. It's normally, is it Jana?
Jana, Inverness.
Yeah, she does a lot of our games. With the likes of yourself. But when you go down the road, there's the amount of female referees, Glasgow based, is unbelievable. Really, numbers of them, and some clubs will pay for linos and things like that. So you will see, if they're not on the pitch, they're normally doing the line, which is good. First game of football you reffed, and I'm not talking about on the line, actually reffing.
I think it was Forest. Like, I don't know, under 12s or whatever, the youngest you can get probably. I remember, what's the park that it's like you have to go through the woods to get to?
Sanker.
I was there. I remember I phoned Lee because I thought I was lost. Couldn't drive, so I had to take my mum. So I think we were hiking through the woods for like 20 minutes to try and get there. But yeah, that was the first game I did.
To be fair, that park's not much different to the woods. Like, so it's awful through there. It's absolutely awful.
I don't even know if they still use it, do they?
Yeah, there is.
Harry.
So at the end of your course, you always have to do like a game where someone comes out to watch you, and we say we normally pick kids football or boys leagues, brilliant for it. I say there's so many games on during the week. We've got a couple of you guys through that just now. My first one was in Lossy, actually. I think it was one of the Lossy youth teams, or a school game. It was possibly a Lossy school game, just up on the pitches next to Lossy United.
Yeah.
And then my first actual game, that was like your tick box. Okay, you understand roughly what you're doing, so you're good to go. And then I think my first ever game was, I think it was Stodlick and Brander, one of the welfare teams. A proper to be thrown in there at 16 into the welfare. There's your first game. It was a bit of an eye opener, but no, it was good.
Remember your shit?
Forest 14s versus, I'm sure it was Nairn 14s, but it was local, but just a youth game, just to get you through that tick box. And then after that, not a clue. Cannot remember.
Do you just have a rough idea of how many games you have reffed? Nah.
Not a clue.
No.
I'm about, just this season, I'm about 50. This season alone, just now.
And then you count that, times that by your seasons, and you get a rough number. A
rough number, but it could be more, could be less, but it's roughly about 50.
Is that normally what, 2 a weekend, 1 a weekend, sometimes 3?
Depends on who you are and what you do. Harry's probably only doing 1 a weekend.
I'm normally just with one.
I'm sitting at 3 devs, so I'm doing a junior game on a Saturday, and then I'm picking up a under 18s on a Sunday, Highland League under 18s, and then that's not including your midweek games and stuff as well. You'll get games there as well, so there's plenty of games, especially with the amount of numbers that we've got in the area. There's plenty of games to get.
Aye.
And you look at the folk at like grassroots level, they could have like I think your youth girls games are on like a Saturday morning, so girls game at 10:30 on a Saturday morning, then by lunchtime you're changed a junior line or a Highland League line in the afternoon, and then Sunday you're doing the same again. So some of the guys at grassroots welfare on a Friday night, they are doing 4 or 5 games a weekend at the sort of grassroots level.
That's another one. Kenny, he takes anything going.
Kenny's always covering games for us.
Because
I say, without people doing that, I say our numbers are so short, but people are huffing to, and you get there and like, you need a rest for pre-season, and then welfare starts. So guys are just out the house constantly doing games, which is kind of why we need more people to give some guys a rest, I suppose.
100%. What are you averaging a weekend, Megan?
I try and do 1. I'm obviously I'm at uni, so I try and keep my Sundays to study, but doesn't happen. And then, of course, you've got like your midweek games as well on top of that. And then welfare kicks in, so your Tuesday, Friday, and then a Saturday if you've got as well.
Is there a rule about certain teams you kind of ref supporting and things like that?
So you get like, it's called a conflict of interest. So if you've got like, I say Alan Proctor as an example, when he was coming through, he like sponsors some teams with his company, so he wouldn't go near them. But it's only if you felt like there's a conflict of interest that would stop you from refereeing a team, you'd have to say. So I mean, personally, I haven't said I support a team and I wouldn't want to referee this team, because to me, it's just another game. So I wouldn't let it affect you. But if someone did think that, then they would have to put in a conflict and they would avoid that team.
Okay, that's interesting. Right, here's an interesting one for you. Who's the best player you've been on the pitch with? Do you get a chance to actually enjoy a game of football? Like, if it's a good game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but the enjoyable ones for us are the ones where we can walk off thinking, that was a good game, but no one's speaking about us.
Aye.
If you go out there and it could be a great game or a big fixture, but if you've had something where you're thinking, oh, have I got this right or wrong? Suddenly you're going off the pitch just dreading it, thinking there'll be a clip on social media tonight or tomorrow and you're panicking if you got it right or not. So.
Okay.
You kind of have a rough idea if the game's half decent enough, because I find that when I'm out reffing, I've got a funny feeling, I've got a funny thing for checking my watch, and it's normally about 19 minutes.
No.
But if it's past that, I'm like, this game must be half decent, because I've not looked at my watch, I've not looked down, I've not had a wee check. It's just wee things like that.
Right.
But,
brilliant.
Yeah. I know, and it's gutting when you've looked at your watch and it's 5 minutes in.
I know.
That's
And
bad.
then the rain starts and the wind comes in, you know.
Best player you've been on the pitch with? Any ideas? Or do you just look at it that way?
Yeah, you do. I think certainly, like, you get pre-season games, so you tend to get, like, I have to say, Premier League teams have come up for pre-season games. We've had a few good ones up here, testimonials. I've had a couple of Premier League teams that have had a chance to referee. Names off the top of my head. I'd done a Legends game probably about, I don't think how many years ago it was now. It was Fernando Rickson's Legends game at Borough Briggs, and it was like our old firm Legends, and sharing a pitch and going inside afterwards with the likes of Andy Gorham and
that's mental.
boys like that. Just to say I've been on a pitch with something like that was pretty cool. And like, again, one of your legends of football, and something like that was pretty good. I've done like Aberdeen played Bucky. I think it was Spider's testimonial I done for him actually.
Aye.
And the boys like Christian Ramirez and that boys that have played like international level of football, it's like sharing a pitch with them. That's when you notice the difference. Like, they're like athletes. Like share a pitch with boys like that's pretty good.
Stuart,
I don't know what to say. Somebody in case I find somebody else. But no, I don't know. It's not something I'm really paying attention to. I'm trying to think back on names, and it's just nothing.
No.
Nothing comes to you.
Same yourself, Megan.
I don't know, but I suppose with like the women's game as well in the Premier League, there's a lot more internationalists that you get to kind of watch.
Aye.
So it's a different standard to the men's game, but you can still appreciate, how good they are in their own
Definitely.
own field. So yeah, it's interesting to see kind of the players that we've got in Scotland.
Aye, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Even the level I work at, I was shocked at how good the football is. I massively underestimated the squad that I've got now before I got involved with them. I wouldn't say I didn't have an interest in women's football because it's local football, so I've got an interest, but I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I do now. Players like you got Mia Lundberg, 80 odd goals, in 50 games, and it's only when you see her in training every week you actually appreciate how good she is. She'll go at a high level at some point in her career. Right, so let's actually get a bit into the Moray and Banff. Is it Banff or Banffshire?
Moray and Banff.
Moray and Banff association. So how does things work? Do you just have meetings every week? Is it a lot of video calls and that, or?
No, so it used to be monthly, but that kind of got cut back again, probably just with folks' commitments and stuff. It's probably just too much. And I say if you're doing a game Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays were always our sort of meeting nights. It was too much. Training Tuesdays, before we know it, that's people out the house Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we're finding a lot of folk were either patching off the meetings or the training because they had games at weekends. And it was understandable. So that's kind of been cut now. National, I think it's sort of quarterly now, so maybe 4 or 5 meetings a season. Again, I'm on the sort of committee, so do the president's role for Moray and Banff, and kind of do the coaching. So the Scottish FA will send us coaching content or clips with what they want sort of coached. So again, I've got to kind of go on their directive of what they want me to sort of say. So we'll go through clips about games that have happened. They're trying to get it more sort of local level. And again, there's VOs at every game now. So we do try and use out more local levels that suit the people that are there. And then they'll show us different highlights and clips and say, right, this is what we want you to do in this situation. This is right or wrong, and what was good, what was bad. And we're just going to get a bit of interaction so we can all kind of improve together and go off the same sort of hymn sheet. And then hopefully once I've done that to the guys on a Monday, they can put that into their games on a weekend.
How many refs, you don't have to give me exact numbers, you reckon that there is in the Moray and Banff Association?
So we've got about 50 signed up, but that's like members. It's not people actively refereeing. You know, some of the guys that are older that are just still being involved or helping out. I think
It's probably about 35
Yeah,
active. Roughly, I would have said.
around about 30 people covering all the games.
And it's a lot of games to cover, you know. You're probably talking, what, hundreds a weekend? By the time you got youth.
Certainly weekly, I know.
Aye. So how does it work? Do you get to get assigned to a game? Do you say, I can take that game? What's the process like?
So on a Tuesday, the SFA sit down the road at Hampden, and then you'll get an email through. So I think it's actually the Friday night to decide who's going where.
Friday and Monday, they sort of have a chat, and then we find out.
And we find out on the Tuesday. We get an email. That's your senior listed guys, or guys that are going, guys and girls that are going into the Highland League lines and stuff. They're all appointed down the road. Youth football around here for the 14s, under 14s is Will Adam. He does the appointments for that. 16s and 18s, Highland League 18s is SFA. The 16s is our association manager, Bill. He appoints them, and then it filters down, and then I appoint junior lines. So if we get anyone that's still available, they'll then go into junior lines and help out there.
Is it?
So like this SFA will tend to do your sort of senior games down to like juniors, and then your sort of grassroots stuff is handed back to us to sort out ourselves. That's what I say. We've given different leagues to different guys here, and they go and try and find someone to fill in the games for us.
Yeah. Taking aside like the magnitude of a game, what's the easiest kind of game to ref? Is it a youth game, a women's game? Is it a juniors game?
See, I think I'm different because when I first started, absolutely hated doing women's games. And I don't know if it's maybe just because I'm a girl and refereeing girls, I just thought it was an absolute pain. I always thought like I never really get much grief off the boys when I do the men's game.
Okay.
Whereas yous are probably different to me, and you know, maybe the women's game is easier for yous, I don't know. But I've always preferred doing the men's game.
Stuart just gets grief in general.
Anyway.
I just get pelters for the angle, to be fair. I don't know. It's...
Personally, for me, I think just because I've been there for so long, I find the Highland League quite easy, but it's because I get on with a lot of the guys, and kind of it's local guys as well. A lot of guys you've grown up with, or you know from or through friends and stuff, and I find it's a bit more of a sort of friendlier league to sort of manage. Personally, I get on with a lot of them. I've done like 9 years in the Highland League now, so get on with a lot of the guys there, and I tend to find for me that's where I enjoy it a bit more.
It's like so the refs, obviously there's not a lot of yous about. Do you get preference on like, okay, I'll do that game, or is it decided?
No, so again, like we get like a spreadsheet. If you fill it in maybe a couple of times a season, or when you can, like you say with me with shifts, I work different shifts, and I work a late shift and a night shift on a Saturday, and I'll say I have to be near Elgin to get to my work.
Yeah.
And they'll facilitate that for you. I say for a long time I was working in Buckie, so if I was ever on a late shift, I'd be like, well, you need to have me in Buckie or Keith, otherwise I'll be late for my work.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of seasons where I was getting Buckie all the time, and folk are going, he keeps getting Buckie games. It was like, it's not through anything of choice. I'm not choosing to have Buckie games, it's just that's where I worked, and that was them making sure that I could get a game whilst being able to work at the same time. So they do try and fit it in where they can. Like you can put it in on your spreadsheet, I need to be here this weekend, or I'm not available, I'm away on holiday, and then that sort of goes down the road, your spreadsheet goes down the road, and then they give you games, but you don't know your game until a Tuesday.
Aye.
It used to be a thing sort of, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 seasons ago, the Highland League would come out for 6 weeks, and you get to go, here's your games for the next 6 weeks, and it was fine, you could know, oh, this weekend I'm here, or there's my trip up to Wick, that's your long day out, but now you just find out on a Tuesday, so it's good. I mean, it gives you something to look forward to on a Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, you know, find out what game you're going to get.
Yeah.
But they do try and fit it in around your lifestyle, I suppose.
Is there any that you look at and you think, fuck, no, I don't want to go there. That's a long trip. Is there anything? You don't name clubs specifically, but Would that be a thing? Distance? Would that be an issue for you?
Well, some of the guys in the junior that are doing the junior weekend probably are like that with their set mileage, so they're not getting paid the full mileage for taking their car. So I suppose distance probably does come into effect at some point, but I wouldn't say anyone would sit there and go, oh, I'm not going there, I'm not going there.
Aye.
But that would be the only thing is just with that section in the juniors, that mileage bit is probably that answer to that question.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows they've got to take their turn to cover a league, so you know it's like that's your turn to go. Yeah, you know, travel that bit further in that week, and sometimes it's good to get a trip away from like being stuck on your doorstep all the time.
Aye, I know what you're saying. Right, I'll give you about a minute each. Why should people get involved in ref? And we'll start with you, Stuart.
Fitness is a massive thing. I started off, I was huge. I'm not going to lie to you. I still am big, but I was huge. It's basically my fitness, my lifestyle's changed completely around it. If you're into football, it's a massive thing. Like
How many kilometres you cover in a game, roughly? Do you just count?
Depends on the game. If you're Kenny, you're covering 11. If you're anyone else, you're probably anywhere between 8 and 10, roughly. 8 and 10 is probably the average.
Yeah.
But no, refereeing's a massive thing. We're so short. Like I say, the game can't go on if we don't have referees. But the money side of things as well, you're picking up an extra, depending on what league you're doing, you're picking up an extra roughly 50 quid a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's without your mileage on top of that. So, like I say, there's heaps of opportunities as well, especially to the younger folk listening. The SFA are really pushing young people. Like I say, I'm 25 now, so I'm probably out of that bracket. But like I say, they're pushing 17 all the way up. It's as high and as quick as you can.
Yeah. Megan.
I think it was probably the making of me joining. I think before I probably wouldn't have said boo to a ghost. I'm
Confidence building.
Yeah, 100%. I think when you're thrown into that kind of situation where you're the one that makes decisions and, everybody's looking at you to decide what's happening. I think it was really the making of me. Maybe still not like the most chatty person ever, but it's definitely helped. I think as well, like getting to travel, like you can go anywhere with it, literally. You look at some of the girls that are going abroad, getting a trips away, doing all these international games. It's like an amazing opportunity, especially for all the girls that are like the women's game is growing so much, and there's so much opportunity for girls to come and join and just have fun. I think that's really, like the guys that we've got in our association are really supportive, I think, which helped me. I think it was really daunting the first time I kind of went to training, knowing that I was the only girl kind of going. I was quite young when I joined as well. So I think having a group of guys that are so supportive and, you're made to feel welcome really makes a difference. So I think that's one thing that we've got is a really good group that, you can feel welcomed no matter who you are.
Yeah. Brilliant. Harry?
Yeah, I think you've probably covered most of it there, but that's pretty much your main reasons. I say being involved in football at a decent level. As I know for a fact that I've refereed Premiership games or been at some of the top grounds and been involved in SPFL games and stuff. I would never have got near that as a player. I would have just been there as a fan. So it keeps me involved in that sort of games. And I say fitness is a big thing as well. As you go up through the ranks, the fitness tests get harder, or there's a bit more scrutiny on it. It keeps you going in terms of that. The money is always a nice side of it as well. It's extra pocket money. It's not why we do it. I don't think anyone would say they do it purely just for the money, but it's something else that helps you. And certainly when I was a youngster, coming in at 16, 17, an extra £50 in my pocket on a Saturday was brilliant for me. For a Saturday night when you were younger coming through. So, that was good. That's the opportunities that I've had. I've had games at Hampden and stuff, which I never thought I would ever get near as a player and whatnot. The only time I'd been at Hampden was as a fan, so to get a game there and things, it was just brilliant. So I would say certainly a lot of people may be daunting at the thought of why would I want to do that. So it's not, it's going to be full of abuse and stuff, but it's not really what it's about. There's like a good community sort of spirit there. And certainly before I joined as well, I was just working in a shop And I thought, well, will I join the police? Will I not? I mean, I actually came to my police interview. A lot of the examples I could relate back to refereeing.
Okay.
And as much as folk maybe don't want to be in the police or be a referee, it's two brutal jobs. But it was something that I used there, dealing with conflict, dealing with angry people, and I said, well, I'll deal with that in both. And I was able to use that to actually, a lot of examples in my police interview were from refereeing. So it done me well in my actual career away from the football pitch as well.
That's brilliant. Football Journals is sponsored by SSS and Bro Windows Limited. They're a professional window cleaning company with over 25 years' experience, fully insured and proudly serving Lossiemouth, Hopeman and the surrounding areas. They use hot water fed pull systems for all upper level windows, allowing them to safely clean properties up to 40 feet high. All ground floor windows are cleaned by hand using traditional methods, ensuring a detailed finish every time. Services include windows, frames, sills and doors. They work year round in all weather conditions, so your windows are cleaned regularly and reliably. You can contact them today for inquiries or quotes on 07359 501 603 or message them on Facebook. You'll find them at SSS and Bro Windows Limited.
When it comes to roofing, getting the right materials and advice is crucial. And that's exactly what Planwell Roofing Supplies deliver. With over 30 years of experience, they offer a complete service to every customer, whether you're a joiner, contractor, or DIY enthusiast. Planwell provides free professional advice, free quotations, and top quality made materials manufactured in their own factory to fit your project perfectly. Their Nova range even comes with a 20-year guarantee, and other products like Plastisol and polyester sheets come with a 10-year guarantee. Every sheet and flashing is made with safety edges, reinforced protective packaging, and a free fitting guide. Plus, every order comes with a fixing socket and safety gloves. They deliver throughout Scotland, offer unbeatable prices, and have thousands of satisfied customers every year. For quality service, peace of mind, it can only be Planwell Roofing Supplies. And you can contact them via these methods on their website at planwell.co.uk, their phone number on 0800 02 88272, or their email at inquiries@planwell.co.uk. So thank you to the Planwell team for the support this year.
I'm right in thinking I probably know your answers. None of you expected to still, after that first game, still be reffing all these years later at the levels you're reffing at.
Yeah.
Nah.
Didn't really know how it was going to go.
Nah.
Just a tester that first couple of times.
The thing is, I was always told, but obviously I got my course paid for, but you get told before you even do your course, you go and do one game, you get your money back for your course. You're paying, I think it's £50 now for the course, is it? Youth football's £45 plus 45p a mile, 40p a mile. You're making your money back without really. You may be spending a couple of weeks on an online course, but you're getting your money back if you don't like it. You know what I mean?
You've not lost out on anything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just give it a try.
Aye, it's the best thing. Just try it. If you don't like it, well, at least you've given it a shot.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. So, give you a couple of examples. Who's the worst? Is it the crowd? Is it the coaches? Is it the players? Is it the board? Who normally are the biggest pain in the arse is to deal with?
Not something I deal with too much now in youth football, but it certainly causes us a lot of issues, parents.
Aye.
And it really is. To say, I know folk go down to watch and you're excited for your little ones and whatnot. I say I would be as well. You want them to do well, but I say some of the stories you hear from parents and going too far, the abuse towards referees. We've had a few incidents this season. It's just, I don't know why it goes as far as it does sometimes, but I suppose they don't see us as people a lot of the time. They're just seeing you as a referee in your kit, your uniform, whatever it is. And if it's your fault, the team's getting beaten, the frustration when things aren't going their way, and a lot of the time we end up being on the receiving end of it. But personally, I don't mind the abuse too much. I've not had too much to deal with, certainly from fans, players and whatnot. Like I said, the higher you go up, seems to be a bit more of a respect or an understanding there, certainly, but we've had a lot of issues with parents. I don't know, you'll maybe know if doing a bit of both at weekends.
No, to be fair, you're actually quite quiet. I had an incident halfway through the season at 18s. Mass confrontation went on. Basically, got that all sorted, and one of the young lads at the back just kept mouthing and mouthing. So he got a caution, told him to walk away. A yellow card, told him to walk away. Came back, kept going, sent him off. Anyway, end the game, I'm just hearing somebody in the stand like this. Just the whole time. I look up and the dad's there, and I'm like, oh no, oh no. He's offering me for a fight outside after the game and everything. I'm like, what are you doing? But no, parents, nail on the head.
Yeah.
Um,
Even at adult games, because maybe it's not a high level or something, you've got the parents there and they can be just as bad as parents of 12, 13-year-olds. You know?
Still somebody's kid at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's what it is. But no, during games you'll get the odd player that might chirp every now and then. But the more you referee the person, the more they get used to you and you get used to them.
Aye.
So you eventually then build a rapport with them and you can have a wee comment as you go past or something. Hell, we laugh at them and that.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they didn't really get. I mean, the shouting during the game, to be honest, see when you're actually refereeing, you're in the middle, you don't tend to hear it because you're focusing so much on something else.
Yeah.
You don't really hear the jabs at the side. But I wouldn't really say it's majorly bad during the games.
That's okay. Strangest rule in football, Megan? Or is there anything that you came across that you had no idea was a rule? Like I had one a couple of months ago, and it was I've been associated with football all my life, whether that's just watching or coaching or something, and it was the one about a penalty coming back off the post. You know, obviously they can't finish it.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea. I've been watching this game over 30 years.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was a rule.
Just something that never really happens.
happens.
But
No.
when it does,
It's because it's basically an indirect free kick then,
few
isn't
touches,
it? Aye.
like kicking it twice kind of thing. So
Anything that sticks out?
I suppose one that's always like hard to explain to players is like drop ball to the keeper when like the attackers have the ball. That one never goes down very well.
no.
Yeah.
And it's been a rule for however long. Still never is one that people can't wrap their. I don't suppose it is fair, but it is just what it is.
Aye.
And it's one that players never like.
Yeah. Stuart.
Probably, I'm going to be safe and go with the same as Megan there. It's
Aye.
trying to wrap somebody's head around something that if you've got the ball at your feet and then something happens, you get dropped back to the keeper, it's just try to explain it to somebody. Probably that, but
Aye. A difficult one.
Giving someone a booking for taking their top off, celebrating that one always like, always one that you hear players go, why? And I don't know why we do it, but we just have to.
I heard it was something, it started in the top leagues, and it's because the sponsors weren't happy when the players getting their photo taking the goal celebration and the sponsors ain't there, and it's kind of worked its way into football. That's what I'd heard, but I don't know. Right. It could be anything here. Could be anything. What's the funniest thing that's happened in a game of football? Go with you first, Harry.
I mean, fans always love it when we get hit by the ball. I took an
I
absolute.
fucking don't. I was like, get out of the way.
I took an absolute belt. It was the North of Scotland final, actually. Ross County and Nairn. And I was running, there was a ball going right towards the corner of the box. I need to make sure I'm there. If this is in or out, if there's a foul, penalty, free kick, I need to be close. And also in the striker move, the defender goes to clear it and I'm right behind it. And I'm like, oh, this is going nowhere else but right in my face. And the whole ground's loving it. And I've got tears in the eyes, the nose is bleeding. And I'm like, I just need to drop this ball and run away from this situation as fast as I can. And as I'm running up the park, I just feel the blood coming out my nose. I'm like, this is not a good place to be. But funniest one that didn't involve me, I'm not going to name the team, but I had a Scottish Cup match and came out for the second half. I'm counting here 11 players, 11 on that side, get to 10. Right, the 11th is missing. I just noticed one of the players running back towards inside. I'm like, where's he going? I'm literally about to kick off. Don't know where this player's going. And then I hear the manager going, where's he going? One of the boys, I think he needs a toilet. All right, he does a favourite time. Do we wait for this guy? I don't know what's happening here. And then his assistant manager goes running in to find out what's happening. And the next shout was, have we got a spare pair of shorts? So I can only assume he had an accident and he didn't make it to the changing room in time. And the answer was they didn't have a spare pair of shorts and he got subbed. And I didn't see him again. So I don't know what happened to him.
I take that's the same rule as blood. No shite either.
If that's what happened, that would not be coming back on. So I can only assume that's what happened to him. That was the first round of the Scottish Cup.
Well, Stuart, some of the games you've been involved in, I've been involved in, there's some fucking funny things happen. But
there's heaps of things.
I find it more welfare when it's amateur football. Some of the fucking things you come across, it's like, what is going on
you can
here?
get anything, absolutely anything. Like, you name it, we've probably all seen it, to be honest.
Aye.
I've tripped over, I was doing a youth game, there was a throw and I was facing the throw in, the boy taking the throw in, I step back and this young bairn runs behind my back and dying to go backwards. I just remember it was Alan Proctor, Darren Monroe, and I can't remember, I think it was John Black. It was up at the top corner, they were looking down. And I'm like, oh no, I hope they've not seen it. I stand up and there's these three just buckle up in the top corner. I'm like, oh no, I'm never living that one down. It's probably my most embarrassing one, to be fair. Or the nosebleed the other week when I was there with yourselves. I was running up.
I've never seen that in a game ever.
Nah, I was just running just pretty much up the side, when I was just keeping up with play, and then all of a sudden I was like, what's that? Oh, I'm bleeding here. Oh no, hate to stop the game.
Not one person had a tissue either.
I think the weirdest bit for that, I was offered a tampon halfway through. That was probably the weirdest thing.
Anything stick out in mind, Megan?
I had a game a few weeks ago, and we were away to start for kick-off, and they asked if we could delay kick-off because the manager was stuck in the toilet. We were like, no, we're just going to get on with it, and then came back half time and like the door's broken in 3 bits in the hallway. So you made it.
Wow.
So brute force, I think. But
that's a lot of willpower to get to that game. Like, wow. Jesus. It's I've seen some funny things. I've seen a few referees just going over, and it's just like, you don't care where to look, because it's like, if I start laughing at you, you might book me, you know. But
you've got Loss's famous tweet of the game pause for the referee spewing in the centre circle.
who was that?
Was not actually. I was meant to be on that game, and I called off on the morning of that game because I was sick. So I got replaced. We win our name, and it was Paul McAvenue. Paul McAvenue took over, and he came through and done that game from Aberdeen, and he ended up being sick during the game. So that ended up Loss's most famous tweet, I think.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
He's going to come after you after that. You put your foot right in it there, eh?
Do you prefer to speak to the players when you're reffing, or not much, just speak to a cat? I know it's less seen these days because it's normally just the captain's meant to speak, but when you talk, I know you do, you'll talk through a game. You use the same, you just kind of talk them through the game. One thing I like Jamie, I've had Jamie Acast for a few of my games, and I remember saying to him when he was in here, and he was like, I says, you took my game on Friday night and you're going, good tackle. He was like, yeah, it's a good tackle. It's not, oh, well done, that's a great tackle. It's like, it's clean. That's what I mean by good and things like that. And I like a ref who'll give his opinion in that way, if that makes sense. Is it important to speak to players, speak to coaches as you are going, or?
Yeah, certainly that's how I like to try and do it. The way if I've wanted a referee to referee my match, I'd like him to try and talk me through it rather than just show cards to my face. I mean, ultimately there is times when it's needed, but certainly I've sort of always tried to be that one that you can speak to, or try and build a relationship with somebody rather than have to flash a card in their faces. Builds that respect as well, and then if you need a hand from them or something's going wrong, you know that they're going to be a little bit better with you as well. So
it's a man management thing, and it's the player management. Like, if you can have a laugh with a player, just say something's happened and you can have a wee little jab at each other and have a laugh, it's going to make your game so much easier, because you're not constantly looking over your shoulder, or you're always, you know what I mean, you know they're going to be pretty reasonable with you. Yeah. Like you do still get you've still got to keep an eye on over your shoulder and just watch them, but most of them, the more you speak, the better Abdi kind of is.
Yeah. I think you always get some players that just, you try and speak to and they just won't. But I think pretty much all of them are pretty good if you chat away to them.
Aye. Right, I had an incident this season. I want your opinion on it as referees. I got booked for rushing out my technical area, but there was no technical area. So how does that work?
There should have been one.
There wasn't.
I don't know. Can't answer that one then.
Okay.
Your technical area is normally a metre either side of where your subs are, but obviously if there's not one, it's a bit hard to manage. But
because there was no dots on the ground or nothing. It was just, we were at a fence.
I suppose like the old way of doing it, we used to get sort of for kids when we used to put cones out to sort of cone off an area, I suppose. So at least there's something that This is
Okay.
where you need to be.
Now, when you say you stormed out, what did you do?
I know,
Because
depends what you done.
storming out is just, was the
just-
hand going and shouting, or
I disagreed. The hand was definitely going, but it was never shout. It was just ref. What was that? But rushed out my technical area, so I got booked for it.
Yeah, it's something that certainly over the last couple of years it's been sort of more pushed on us to enforce it. And again, I think it maybe helps at grassroots level. I'm not sticking up for it, obviously, but it is something that we need to needs to happen. Again, if you've got a manager who's throwing arms and that about, and there's parents behind him, they're going to follow suit. They're going to see this excited behaviour, and I suppose it's just to try and calm that whole thing down. But I get there's frustrations and there's some very excitable manager out there. You get Diego Simeone at the top of the game. You want to get someone more excitable than that, and it's personalities. You can't take folks' personalities out, but there's going to be frustration and animation and stuff like that. But again, we've just got to try and from almost like a respect the referee side of things. If they're throwing arms at you, we're told to kind of try and deal with that, because it's like the wider picture. Doesn't matter what you're saying, it's more just like the theatrics of it. And again, like players throwing the ball and that down, we're told that this now has to be a caution to keep it consistent.
Yep.
Again, it's like you take that sort of, some referees would rather speak to you and deal with it, but for things where it's like actions, that's one thing we're told. Try and be a bit more consistent, so that if you get a referee that comes along the following week, it's quite quiet and maybe struggles to speak to somebody, at least then they're not getting the grief because I've decided not to card you. So we're trying to be a bit more consistent with it, and I think that's something that it has been really pushed on us over the last couple of seasons. And like the coaching clips that we get,
Yeah.
the ones that I show the guys, like this guy's has to be a caution. That's like at all levels of football now.
Yeah.
up at the training days as well.
Yeah.
We basically get, depending on what category you are, depending on where you go for training days. But what you do is you do like scenarios. Well, basically get a ball out. Some folk will play football, and then one will be the ref. And you come in and talk about it. And the technical areas was definitely at the last one.
Yeah, a big push.
Yeah, massive big push up there.
And does that go for who's in the technical area as well? If there's somebody that's not meant to be there.
Everything. Just absolutely everything. It's obviously to try and tidy it up a little bit as well. But no, the throwing of water bottles or throwing a ball or throwing your arms up in air, all that sort of stuff, they're cracking right down on.
Yeah. Well, I got just a warning to shut up yesterday, and I've now taken that, because I like referees who will say, right, you've had your warning, and I'll take it from there. That's fine. As opposed to the other coach yesterday, but we'll not get into that. Right, you don't have to give me any names here. Is there any teams, players you've come across you think, oh, fuck me, this?
Aye.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. There's always folk, some folk, again, it's their competitive nature. You can't take it out of people. Like, they want to win, and again, you totally respect that. But at the same time, again, sometimes it goes too far towards us. But again, like, once you get to know these folk, you can try and talk them through a game. Like, if you know there's going to be a player that causes problems, you're always on them, and it annoys them to an extent, but it also keeps that lid so it never boils over to go too far. And again, we're not doing it to pick on them. Like, some of them will feel like, oh, you're constantly annoying me, if I'll leave me alone, and I'm telling you to stand up or not dive into a tackle or go quiet and go away. It's not because we don't want to deal with it or we want to try and harass you. It's to try and keep them on the park as much as it is.
Yeah.
Just to try and keep that lid. Whereas some players there is boys that are just constant, whereas they'll niggling at players, niggling at us, or having goes at fans. It's just the nature of some folk. You see it at every level of football.
Absolutely.
But you need them characters as well and make it
You
exciting.
too, that's football.
Yeah,
You don't have them, you don't have a game.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Right, you might not know the number, but I'm going to ask anyway. What's the most cards you've given in a game, Megan? Stuart's laughing.
Definitely not as high as some others. I don't know, we'll go 7 maybe.
Yeah, was that reds included?
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty good.
that's not bad. Stuart?
I don't know mine, but I know Alan Proctor's. He had 14. I'm sure he had 14 yellows and a couple of reds.
Wow,
I'm sure.
that's mad.
I'm sure he's told me that before. If it's not far away from it either way. But I think I might be about 9.
Okay, is that reds included as well?
Nah, it's just yellow.
Just
It's just yellow, I think.
I think mine might be about 14.
Yeah, well, it might have been you. It
Jesus.
might have been you. It might not even have.
Would be pretty bad if I've got that many cards. But I'm trying to remember which game it was now. I done a Scottish Cup game at Cowdenbeath in Linlithgow Rose, and it was nothing. There was controversial towards me. Again, it was just two teams just going hell for leather, and there were tackles flying, and went to extra time, and it was almost going to penalties, and boys were just giving absolutely everything, and it was just I don't think there was many yellows for actual dissent. It was just constant fouls and tackles and just a full-blooded game. It was quite enjoyable, to be fair, but it ended up with a lot of cards. And again, it was just to keep a lid on it. But
A lot of paperwork.
it was.
I suppose that's what we didn't realise. There's paperwork behind these cautions, isn't there? There's rules. Like, I think Bish had one a couple of weeks ago where it was, is it Dogzo?
Aye.
Yeah, and I got that through and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I read into it and it's like, all right, denial of goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
They are actually quite a lot more common than you think, aren't they? Is that down to what? Like, everyone seems to have a different opinion on this because I've asked referees, what is a denial of a goal scoring opportunity?
Again, it's probably hard to put it down into one example.
Yeah.
Whereas it will literally be different every single time. Because, like I say, we get coached and like there's different things to look for in a scenario. And it's one of the things, and it's hard to do it on a pitch, is like take a snapshot of when the foul happens, and that'll let you know how many covering defenders are there, how far away is he from goal, is he going towards goal or towards the corner flag. What are the chances of him actually scoring from where he is? So you've got like a tick box, and if you're ticking more of them boxes than you're not, you're probably looking towards a red card.
Aye.
And if it's at halfway and there's two defenders there, it's probably not. If it's on the edge of the 18-yard, and you just got to try and work it. And every scenario will be different. There'll be different amount of covering defenders. It'll be a different position of the pitch.
Aye.
So it's like you can't always say there's like one way to narrow it down. Every single one's going to be different. I would say, in particular, especially with VAR coming in at the top in Scotland, they have been quite consistent with it. There's ones that I think, I say they're quite controversial now, but I think I would say they've got fairly consistent with it in Scotland. That
Yeah.
folk are now saying they are more often than not going for the red card for the dog. So, but again, it's like there's a checklist that you kind of
We
go
tick
through.
off. Yeah. I don't know if any of you caught the Rochdale York game at the weekend.
In a few tweets.
So I think it was 95 minutes. It was 5 minutes added time. It actually went to 100 minutes with fans invading the pitch and things like that. Have you had any similar scenarios where games have run further than they should have?
I had one.
Yeah.
I had a junior game and we didn't have any comms. There was a really bad injury, and somehow the rest maths went absolutely haywire, and I think we added on like 18 minutes
Wow. Okay.
for maybe like a
That's
5 minute
mental.
injury, and we're trying to tell them to wrap this up, but was not having it. So that was a hard one to explain to the technical areas.
I bet.
I have no idea where he's got all the things from.
Have you ever abandoned a game?
No, we were close with that one, but no, I don't think so. Not with me anyway.
Stuart?
I have once at the Gleaner for wind. I can't remember.
It was Elgin Thistle because I
I'd say mental how you know it. I find that I think you must follow me in my games. They give me a bit more refereeing than I do. No, I said to them before we started, I'm sure it was just the start of the storm, when the storms was coming in. And I said before we started, I was like, lads, if you're about to go, if you want to try and play this game, I'm more than happy to give it a go. So we gave it a go, and I think the keeper tried to kick a ball out, and it was just coming straight back to him. Pretty much he'd be able to catch it again. I was like, we'll let it go. Done it again, same thing. Done it again, same thing. I was like, we're going nowhere here, lads. Let's just go. You're all just playing in the same corner. You're not even playing a game of it by this, right? You're just kicking a ball into the wind and watching it come back. So that's it. Let's go home.
I've never abandoned one. One. I've actually, normally you would try and do it in your pitch inspection before. Right? I tend to go, if I'm starting a game, we're trying to finish it. There's one that was up at Ross County. It was Ross County Dundee United in the reserve league. They used to do that on like a Monday or a Tuesday. They got rid of it since, but I used to really enjoy doing like them because it's my shifts always meant I was free on a Monday or a Tuesday to go up and do them. So I got quite a lot of them and go up and say fine first half. And it was Dundee United, one of the coaches came out, have you seen outside? I'm like, no. And he goes, you want to come and have a look? And I went outside, and this fog had just come from nowhere. Fine first half, and we literally could not see the goals. I was like, oh dear. So we went out on the middle of the pitch and was like, right enough. Just this fog came from nowhere, and had to go in and say, we're calling this game off. I can't remember. I think Ross County must have been winning, because I remember they were not happy that it was getting called off. But there's nothing we can do. We can't see the goals. It's like, so we had to can it at half time.
The only reason I asked is because there was a Grampian ladies versus Huntly ladies a couple of weeks ago. It was 5-4, 5 minutes to go, and the ref got injured. Game abandoned. I've never seen that before. I've seen refs being injured and things like that.
Happened an injury happened locally as well at New Elgin a couple of seasons ago.
Can't mind that one.
John got injured.
Oh yeah.
John Faulkner got injured quite early on in the game. I can't mind if I think it got abandoned, but unless they found somebody. But I'm pretty sure it was pretty much the same story.
Yeah.
I think he tweaked his hammy or done his hammy, and he said obviously he couldn't continue. And so in the juniors, you're by yourself. There's nobody else that can take over, so you've got no real option.
That's kind of putting back to he's a human element. It's going to happen now and again. You'd be pretty remarkable to go through a 20-30 year career and they pick up an injury. You're doing just as much running, probably more running than some players. Right. If you're enjoying listening to us, give us a follow. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, TikTok, Facebook, Patreon. Give us a wee rating. Ryan will put in a wee ad break after this because we're going to record one after tonight's episode. But thank you to Moray and Banff Referee Association because, as I say, we're trying to grow things locally with podcasts, with football, with referees, and it kind of goes hand in hand. It's good. Megan, have you got a dream game to referee?
I was lucky a few weeks ago. I did the Celtic Rangers ladies game.
Brilliant.
Which was a great occasion. Probably didn't live up to the game that any of us expected, but I mean the occasion was there and it was a great opportunity.
It's a big game. It's a big game, yeah. Yeah,
and it's really, the top of the Premiership this year is really, really tight, so anybody's title really, so really good occasion.
Same in the men's game.
Yeah.
Stuart, you got a dream game?
Probably an Old Firm. I think it has to be. I think an Old Firm has to be realistically the dream, but getting there is probably never going to happen, but that would be the dream. Realistic one is get myself into the Highland League, get myself a Highland League game. That's a realistic dream, but it's
working on it. Yeah.
Just pushing on, it's all I can do.
But absolutely. How do you got a dream game?
Probably would be for Scotland being your two big teams and probably one of the biggest derbies. You would say an Old Firm game. Say you've done one, it's pretty cool to say you've been on that. So that's probably your biggest game you could get up here.
Was there a big crowd at that game?
Yeah.
I imagine so.
Yeah, they play at New Douglas Park. So
that's right.
Somewhere different to go. Yeah.
Horrible ground.
Yeah, not very nice. Yeah.
Horrible ground. Grass or Astro?
Grass.
Yeah.
Grass. Yeah. Same here.
Quite a few games on Astro, and I said, see when it's like even Saturday I was on an Astro pitch, and when there's a slight bit of sun, my feet just burn on it, and the next day my hips are in agony coming back up the road in the car. But don't get me wrong, I choose Astro for their fitness test. It's better for running and turning on, I think, but for actual games I would always be grass. Yeah,
a lot more injuries on Astros as well. It's brutal amount of knee injuries and things that have happened in the last couple of years. What's your ambitions for the future? Sure.
The Highland League. Hope just push myself in the Highland League. Refereeing in the middle. Get into there and hopefully have a wee steady career in the Highland League is what my goal is, to be honest. I'm one step away really, and that's just that last little push for me.
Yeah.
I think you're always saying whatever level you get to, you want to be at that next one. For me, I got to Cat 2 last year, and then I got the bad news I was getting demoted, so I went back down the way to 3.
Okay.
And I kind of took it a bit hard, maybe a bit bitter and a bit angry about things. It was wanted that next step, so took a bit of time, and then like I say, Covis, I pushed Covis to get involved with refereeing, and he took the assistant route. He's ended up in the Premiership games, and I say he's flying in it, so fair play. And then I kind of took that step back and thought actually. And it was actually him that calmed me down. Was like, maybe you should give us a bash, and I thought, I think I will. So that's my route. I said I kind of want to go up the assistant pathway now. So I've been doing that for the last season. I'm really enjoying it again. It's sort of giving my new lease of life and a bit of fresh, something new to try. So my challenge for that is to get promoted into that, being like a full-time assistant and get more SPFL games. Maybe hopefully one day reach a Premiership, but we'll wait and see.
Big money as well. Megan, your ambitions?
I'd love to go like UEFA in the women's game. I think there is so many opportunities for us girls to try and push on, get some trips away would be great. And of course we've got the Women's World Cup at home in 2035. So that's always something to look forward to and try and push towards.
Brilliant. Right, let's go on a bit. Let's get into this ref course a little bit.
Yeah.
Harry, you've got the details of it, so give us the details and then we'll chat a bit about how to get involved.
Let's say we started off the back of COVID, these Zoom courses. So we've got one, well, we used to do them ourselves. It used to be something we would organise in Moray and Banff, and we were trying newspapers out on our Facebook, and we're always getting maybe 2-3 people coming on a course, which is fine. 2 people for a course was decent enough for us, and that was an extra game, and the juniors covered with assistants on a Saturday, having 2 more, or that was an extra 2 youth games covered on the Sunday, so 2 was good, but it wasn't enough for like sort of Scottish FA. Right, we need to try and get more people involved in what we're doing wrong, and everyone was doing their own thing and doing slightly different things. So they've decided now they're doing a national referee course, which is getting run by the Scottish FA themselves with their own instructors. It's like some of the Cat 1 referees are doing sessions and that on it, so I think it's got potential to be quite good. They run for 6 weeks, so similar to what we were doing as well. 6 weeks on Monday nights, 7 till 9, so it's a couple of hours a week.
Is that local?
So all online. So
all online,
again, it's
okay.
getting run by them nationally from Glasgow, but you'll be sitting in your own home with your laptop, iPads, whatever you can use. So again, it saves that commitment, it saves travel.
Yeah.
Folk can do that. It's £50. So, and I think I just want to double check how many weeks it is.
And as we're saying, you start reffing a couple of games, you that money back.
Straight away. Yeah. Well, once you've done your first provisional game, you're getting paid for that. So once you've done that, you've basically got your money back.
Yeah. So 6 weeks, Monday nights, £50 to get it started, and it's run nationally. So they've got all the content. It's all new stuff that they're putting out as well. So it'll all be sort of fresh, a bit more interactive, I think. And you're not just doing it with 1 or 2 years. There's going to be, hopefully, I'm not sure the numbers are going to get, because it's the first time they've done it. So hopefully be big numbers on it. And then once you're sort of through the course, you'll get an exam. It's all done online. It's sort of multiple choice on your computer. And then they'll allocate you sort of like who's from Moray, right? They'll get put out to someone, one of us, to sort of get in contact with them.
Aye.
You'll get allocated like a mentor. Someone who's on the senior list will be your mentor for your sort of point of contact, how to get involved in games and stuff. You get down to training, and we do like a practical, so like positioning, getting used to using a whistle. Believe it or not, it's like not as easy as it looks first time you get to go blow it, and it doesn't work. So we teach people how to use whistle, flagging, all this sort of stuff, and then you go into that first game with your mentor. So your mentor will come down, watch you do a game, normally school football or boys league. Boys league have been really good with us to help us get new people started.
Aye, absolutely.
And then that's sort of how the course goes. You do your sort of content of it online, the practical part with ourselves, and then once you're through the course, that's you. Your mentor will stay with you for your first sort of few months, or however long you need them. To be fair, they'll be there to help, and then that's it. Once you've done that first game, you're free to get involved in whatever you want.
That's brilliant.
You take games as and when you want them. If you want a game, and they say we've got games Tuesdays. Boys league's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so we're almost covering every day of the week. You've got games now.
Every day of the week, especially this time of year. It's every day of the week.
Yeah.
And so once you've done that 6 weeks, that's it. It's over to you. You can put in as little or as much as you want. Like, we've got people who only want to help youth football, which is absolutely fine because it helps us cover those games.
Yeah.
And then you get people who come in and they want to go as far as they can. And say if you want to do that, that option's there for you as well. And so the more you put in, the more you get out of it. I say if you want to go further, that you will be expected to train with us on Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't have to pay for that. We put on training sessions in the winter months. We do like circuits, classes and stuff. So it is a good way of getting fit.
Yeah.
And then you got your meetings, your coaching, anything to try and help you. And they say you can just level up from there.
For all your plumbing and heating needs, AMP Heating and Plumbing Services is a trusted name for both domestic and commercial work, covering everything from everyday plumbing repairs to full heating system installations, whether it's boiler servicing, central heating, upgrades, bathroom installations. They pride themselves on delivering reliable, high-quality workmanship every single time. They also specialise in commercial catering, gas services, working with professional kitchens to install, maintenance and service of gas equipment safely and efficiently. That's key. Known for their fast response time. I can back that up. I had an issue with my heating a couple of months ago. I messaged Alan, who runs AMP, and Alan says, "Are you available this afternoon?" So it's like, you can't get much better than that.
I know.
You know?
That's like armed response level response times.
Exactly. And Alan doesn't do much refereeing these days, so he needs something to fill his time. So give him a shout. But yeah, well-known company, great guy, great two. There's two of them. It was, him and the young lad, pair of sound guys, and that always helps when you're getting stuff done around your house if you get on with the guy. I don't have any hesitations about getting in touch with Alan and the team to sort out all my plumbing and heating needs. Everyone loves a holiday, Ryan.
Indeed they do.
It's something I don't do enough. I maybe should. Probably why I'm burnt out all the time.
That's because we're always in here.
Yeah, it's
Our
true.
holiday is here.
But if you're looking for advice, want to book a holiday, CK Travel Trade, now a sponsor of the podcast. They're a Fraserburgh-based award-winning travel agency and proud members of the Hayes Independence Group, who help customers plan and book holidays of all kinds, from classic beach breaks, cruises to tailor-made trips built around what matters most to you. Founded by directors Chris and Kev, along with Elaine, they combine personal service with deep travel know-how to make the whole process straightforward, reassuring and enjoyable.
Because how many people that are in the audience are listening to this when they're going on holiday?
Yeah,
I literally seen someone say that they were listening to the most recent episode that came out on their way up to Orkney.
Yeah.
So,
It's, yeah.
Are we going to get commission at some point, or is that too much? A little bit too much?
Come on, Chris, sort us out.
Come on. God loves a trier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or triers.
Absolutely. So, give CK a Travel Trade a shout out.
I've seen some of their offers. They're actually it's well in advance, like 2027, but like the price for it's ridiculous compared to what you would be looking at now.
And it's like places like Japan and things like that. Like really, it's not just they do your bog standard going to Spain and things, but it's out there. They also do like football trips.
Appropriate.
Yeah, very appropriate for this podcast. Give Chris and the team a shout on Facebook.
The Facebook stuff, like the social media for sure.
Social medias.
I'm sure there'll be links to, get in touch.
Yeah, and they're local.
Yeah.
Fraserburgh is local.
We've been there.
Yeah, we've been there. Don't remind me of that.
Yeah, we nearly died on the way back.
But no, CK Travel Trade, great company, great offers. Give them a shout if you're looking to book your holiday. It's funny you mention learning to blow a whistle, because I ref the bounce games between Moray girls and my own squad, just in training and that. And I was running a bit. I'm quite a bad asthmatic, so that's why I coach and don't play football. And all I heard was, "Where's the whistle? Where's the whistle?" I've got nape off to blow that whistle. Honestly, I was breathing out my arse, But no, and as you say, you've got to get used to using a whistle. Like being coach and that, I'm normally just shouting things, right? That's a foul, but that whistle lets everyone know at the end of the day what's fucking happening.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific whistle?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Yeah, you get. I mean, there's loads of different whistles these days. There's apps. You will not believe how many whistles you get for football matches. I said there's a ref store. They're run by referees down in Dundee or Angus in Perth. They've actually set up a ref store, and they're like international now. They go all over, and they're based in Scotland. And you go on their website, and the list of whistles and colours you can get is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's leading on to my next question. You've got a favourite colour to ref in?
Not yellow.
Not yellow.
Anything but yellow.
I like black. Keep it traditional. Referees in their black.
Has to be black.
Black.
Has to be black.
Yeah. Because you see some extraordinary colours of fucking ref kits. And is that all... Do you get a choice, or is there like a certain criteria you've got to fit?
Yeah, so like when we start, we've got we get given our kit at the senior level. You get given here's the new kits for the season ahead, and say I don't know what colours are going to be next season. There's been a bit of debate on it. I think we're getting black's always a given. I think it's orange and like a bright yellow we're getting next year. They come out. They always get debuted at the Scottish Cup final. So the Scottish Cup final, the new kits will be worn by the ref team that day.
Okay.
And then they get released to us, and then we always put our kit back into the association. So when you guys start, they've got kit for when they start. So they're not forking out hundreds of pounds on getting new kits.
Aye.
We hand it down and say grassroots. You just wear what you've got there.
Yeah.
But we get told, well, here's your 3 for the season, and then you go and comment. You see what colours teams are wearing. We just, as a ref team, you discuss what colour you're going to wear that certain date.
Okay, that's interesting. Just a wee
And
insight.
then, right, so
Like,
you go on about whistles, you get some referees that like to match their whistle with the colour of their tops and all sorts of. Will
Will
Adam,
Adam pink whistle.
a bright pink whistle is his go-to just now.
oh, wow. The things you never know.
That's it.
You don't know until you ask. Like, right, Stuart, if you could change a rule in football, what would it be? Can I go on this?
Aye.
I mean, it is your podcast.
I'd like to see if the throwing's not taken within like 5-6 seconds, it goes to the other team.
So something that is coming. I've not read up fully on it for the laws of the game, but I'm sure that's coming in next season. Similar to like the goalies one this year.
Yeah.
Like the 8 second, there is something like that coming in. I need to go and scrub up on that because I will be coaching it.
Is that-
There is something like that
So
coming.
I've never actually seen it happen, but does that go to a corner then?
Yeah.
Aye, okay. Have you had to give any corners like that?
Not giving it. I
do it.
should have in pre-season. There was a goalkeeper who somehow, I don't know why, 'cause it was everywhere and everyone else knew about it other than this team's keeper in pre-season. And I'm starting counting down and he's like, just like, what is he doing? Why is the referee counting down in the middle of the pitch? And I'm like, that's for you to kick it. And he's like, oh, I did not know that. I had to have a word with him at half time and say, aye, that's for you. You got 8 seconds to release it now. And he's like, I did not know that.
Aye.
But it has happened. I've not been on a game where it has personally.
Okay. Is there anything you want changed or would like to see changed? Anything that would make your job easier?
Actually, I brought it up earlier. I'd stop cautioning folk for taking their top loss for a celebration.
Handball. Change a handball.
Aye, just
Give a baseline. Give a baseline of actually what a handball is and what it's not. Bottom of the shoulder, bottom of your top.
aye.
There's always going to be
extended.
debate.
Aye, no, it's always going to be. But
Part of it, and this is like,
I'll be
like
us in long sleeves next season.
that was brought up by a manager. Like, say at the start of the season, we go over like laws of the games with the clubs. It does like clubs can request like a meeting, and we can go over the new laws. And it was brought up about the t-shirt line was going to be used for the handball. And one of the Premiership managers, well, my team are going to wear long sleeves and get around that. And is it that is the levels football go to
Yeah.
get around it? So yeah, it just makes you think. But
to be fair, not even changing the rule. That's actually no. Aye, giving people the knowledge of the handball rule.
Aye.
Because see the amount of times you referee a game and the guys have got their hands down here or it's here and it hits their hand and they're shouting for handball. It was there was one in the, I think it was the Arsenal Man City game the other week.
Aye, yeah, no, yeah.
Aye.
It's
It's hands here and you
Never
see them all
handball.
running about shouting handball. There's never a handball on a Monday Sundays. But aye, if they could clarify, if everyone could just get an understanding of that handball rule. But so opinionated, isn't it? It's
aye,
wide open.
Aye, everyone's got a different opinion on it. Aye. Anything you would like change, Megan?
Like my pet peeve is people going down for like head knocks when it's not a head knock.
Aye.
But it's like how you ever, get around that one. But it's a pet peeve. Not a fan.
it's something that we have to stop the game for because, I say, if we're not doctors, we don't know whether it is legit or how bad the injury is. But folk feigning injury and going down too easy, that would be something I would like to try and get rid of somehow.
And is there like a certain rule for an amount of head knocks that you can just tell a player, not send them off, but make them...
No, I mean, you
make
can't
a sub?
caution someone for feigning injury if they're absolutely at it. But I say it's hard as a referee. It's hard. It'd be difficult for you to say he's faking it. You're leaving yourself open to a bit of criticism there because, like you say, that's the job of the club doctor or physio now. But I think they've got concussion subs now. That's another option that they can use. It they can be made to use it if they're doing that. But that's it's not something we can get involved in.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's quite interesting. It's good to know for my own sake and things like that. Right, here's a cracker question for you. What's the worst mistake you've made in reffing?
You can start.
No, I think I'll finish. Yeah. Mine's not good. I'll finish up.
Go down, Hurry.
I mean, it wasn't even an on-field mistake. This was a mistake. It was the biggest game, but probably one of the biggest games I've done. I don't know if that's another question. That day, it was Bucky v Brecon. The day it was like they met each other for the league title.
Yeah.
So I was bricking it, to be fair. I was a bit nervous about this game, mate. I wanted this to go all so well. And I turned up about 2 hours before the game just to try and chill, cup of tea, chill out. I was sitting with Daz and Will Mackay were on my line, have a bit of banter, chill out before the game so we're not stressing. And for some reason, I didn't decide to look into my kit bag until 10 minutes before kick-off. After the warm-up to get our comms kits out, and I'd forgotten to pack them. And it's just 10 minutes before kick-off, and they're both looking at me going, you're joking. I was like, no, I'm not. And like, you're joking. No, I'm being serious. I've left them at home on charge. Like, we've been here for 2 hours, and you've only noticed I've not got them now. And that just put me into absolute meltdown, like right before kick-off.
Just to be clear, he'd be late to his own funeral. That's how late he is to everything.
That was a mad panic, and I went out in full kit, and my missus was in the stand. I went, there's the car keys. In fact, we gave her Daz's car keys because I was blocked in. Like, can you please get home and get with these comms kits? But she obviously wasn't going to be there in time, so I went out for that game, and my head was a mess before kick-off, going out to start that game, going, I can't speak to my 2 assistants in the biggest game of the season. But we got through it first half, okay, and then second half they were sitting in the changing room waiting for me. Fair play to Lynn, she bailed me out and went home and got them during the first half. But that was a bad one from me.
I could have went pretty wrong that. Anything stick out, Megan? Worst mistake?
My first welfare game, I sent off what I thought was a coach who was not a coach, just a random. That was good. Yeah, he took it, to be fair.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just a random punter.
Just a random, just giving me a wee so I thought you can go.
Going in, Stuart.
So mine was pretty recent. I'm just back from a 2-week suspension in the juniors.
Okay.
I was being observed on a game and go all the way through the game, absolutely fine. Went in additional time. It was 3 added. Got to the 92nd. I completely forgot I'd booked the player previously in the first half.
Oh, nah.
2 boys are having a wee little tussle in the penalty area before the ball comes in. So I pull them aside, don't I? Show 2 yellow cards. Write it down on my card. So what I'd actually done is I'd wrote the number, the time in the offence. I don't write it that way. I write it the opposite way. So when I went to look, when I'd done it again, I never clocked that I'd booked the same boy twice. So 92nd minute, I've booked this guy twice. Basically a minute later, game was finished. Didn't notice, walked all the way into the changing room, sat down, got on a Comet, went to do my team lines, finish up, and I went, shit. Oh, shit. And that was it. So, yeah, I booked the boy.
Did you know you were being observed as well?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, the boy, to be fair, the boy that was observing me is brand new. We've all known him for years. He's spot on. It was like, he walked into the changing room and we just looked at each other. And it was one of those moments where you're like, you both look at each other and went, fuck. It was as simple as that. And he basically said that apart from that, you were fine the whole game. Just that 30 seconds, that last 30 seconds. So the moral of the story is I'm never added time on it in any game ever again.
Just a quick one on the observations, because you try to do your job as consistent as possible, but do you feel you're probably more strict, less lenient when you're getting observed with things, more by the book? Sometimes referees, it's an opinion thing, you know. Sometimes referees will let things go and others won't, you know. If you're getting observed, does it have to be pretty much as close to the book and the rule as possible? Yeah,
I would say so. I mean, certain other things, like you say, like, your personality can still come into it. If you want to manage a situation, by all means, they would support you to do that, depending on what it is. Like, you can't, if something's obvious, like an obvious yellow or an obvious red, you can't ignore it just because you want to speak to the boy instead. You have to give them, but they do. Certainly, they're trying to keep like a more consistent approach. Like, so you used to be, you could get observers. One observer wrote one thing and someone else would want another. And again, it's just how people are. People are different, but they are trying to keep that more consistent. Certainly, in the reports now that you're all wanting to go along the sort of same route. So again, I think managers maybe always have a bit of a whinge. If you're getting watched, you have a wee word with them. Technical areas, there's someone watching today, so we might have to be a little bit more stricter on you today. And a lot of them, they understand it as well. We've got a job to do, but I wouldn't say you change much from a game where you're not getting watched to a game you are.
Okay.
Personally, I don't know if you would.
Nah, I just stress a wee bit more before it. Just sitting there shaking in the changing room, like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. But nah, you just get a wee bit more pressure in there. It's like, you think you've already got, 22 guys on the park watching you, and then you've got how many ever in the technical area watching you, which you didn't really think about. But then that one guy or Quine standing behind you, on the opposite side of the pitch, like, all they're doing is looking at me. Like, they're just looking at me the whole game.
There's player cam on you.
It's
I don't even think it's just that in general. I think in football in general, I think every level you go to, there's VO cameras now. Whereas back in the day, unless you were at the top level, it probably wasn't something you'd have to worry about. Maybe if there's a journalist there, you'd hear a wee write up about yourself in the paper. But nowadays, it doesn't matter what game you go to. If you make a mistake, you know fine that teams are going to spot it. There's never going to be a highlight reel referee's doing well.
Yeah.
So teams aren't going to put that out. But if you get a penalty or a red card wrong, that's going to be on that social media. Come by the Monday, that team's going to have it up in the highlights. So there is that scrutiny almost at every level now. There's so much pressure on you to make sure you get things right.
I should have had a goal at the weekend. It was over the line, but I'll not say too much on that. What's the quickest red you've given in a game?
Oh, not quick.
Any first halves?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Nah.
Probably later on, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've not had any in the first half.
Would have a majority of your reds been 2 bookings, or is there anything that sticks out for a straight red?
I went over to do a tournament in Spain, and I had a Irish team who just decided to start punching everybody.
Okay.
So that was a good one. Yeah, it was fun. So there was a few reds in that, but apart from that, they sat it down quite quickly, in fairness. So,
Yeah. You normally do after a red.
Yeah,
it's
red
like,
mist,
"Ooh,
and yeah.
aye."
Yeah, but no, just not really had anything apart from that, like violent conduct, kind of. No.
Stuart, quickest red you've given?
Inside 15, I would say about 13, 15 minutes. Was it Forest, Thistle, Devon side, start of this season?
Straight red.
Yeah, there was no. He went to win the ball, but he was just high and late and just clattered the boy. It was one of those ones that you can't even avoid.
Yeah.
I couldn't book him and speak to him, being like, "You're 15 minutes in." It was one of those ones where he just went bang. Like, can't do much about it, and that was it. Aye, about 15 minutes in.
15.
I've had plenty of them though. I
I
mean,
don't think I've had any really early ones. Nothing that jumps out anyway. Nothing that springs to mind.
One reason I ask is because I was just trying to do a bit of research as you do before these things, and you know the quickest ever red card, 2 seconds. Referee, referee blew his whistle, but he went, "Fuck me, that was loud," and sent him off. Personally, I don't think that's a red card.
That's a bit brutal, like.
But yeah, no, just the things you come up when you're looking.
did you stop blowing the whistle?
What?
For 2 seconds. Same breath.
So the flip side of the question, it's the best decision you've made in a game. You maybe been doubting it at the time, but looking back, it's like, I made the right decision there. Is there anything that sticks out?
Well, I put mine in the group chat the other day. I got praise off of Michael Stewart, which is a bit of a touchy subject just now, but I managed to get that once. That was on a game on the BBC, so I'll take that one.
Are you talking about your haircut that day as well?
The haircut was not good. No. That was not my proudest moment. That was we'll blame COVID for that haircut.
Stuart, anything sticking out?
I don't know what. I think because I was we calmed up and that I was with one of our guys, Greg. I can't remember who the other assistant was. There was I played an advantage, and I went, "They're going to score here. They're going to score here." And they went and scored, and while I'm over the com going, "Oh, it's a great advantage, that's great." I'm celebrating the goal. I'm practically in the corner with him celebrating the goal.
The Mike Dean.
No, I think because every time I see Greg, he mentions it now, to be fair, but just that kind of the advantages is probably the most rewarding. If somebody scores from an advantage, it's probably the most rewarding thing you can do in a game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think an advantage, you know, it's you take your little piece of the glory as well, don't you?
Because you're bound to get ones with advantages that you'll blow and you think, fuck, there's probably an advantage there.
Yeah.
And that probably happens quite a lot.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, you play the advantage and nothing happens. So, I mean, it's rare that anything ever comes from it.
Like Harry was saying, people will remember the bad thing. So they'll forget about the 9 advantages that you've let go. But the one you've not let go and they could have scored from, that's what they'll pick up on. You know what I mean? That's what somebody will pick up on.
Aye.
I had one that was going back to Boys League days. It was a Borough Briggs. It was a Boys League Cup final, and I'd given an offside somewhere around about the halfway line. It was the last minute. Dean Stewart was playing in goals, and he came up to take this free kick at the halfway line. It was the last minute to launch the ball forward. They were losing by a goal, and then he launched it, and it's gone straight in at the other end. It's gone over the top of the keeper and in, and his whole team have like piled on him, thinking it's a goal, but I'm like, that was an offside. That's an indirect free kick. So I've got to give a goal kick, but the entire team think they've just scored in the last minute of a cup final, and they're doing a pile on, and I'm like, that's a goal kick. And they're all like, what's going on here, ref? And I'm like, I'm right, but this is going to be a hard sell. And I had to bring, again, I was back there, brought their captain, and went, you need to go tell them it was an indirect free kick. The free kick was from an offside. That's why my hand was up and the ball's gone straight in. But all they've seen is the ball going in the last minute of a cup final, and it was unpopular, but it was by the law, it was right, but it had a fair bit of explaining to do to people when you've just, again, ruined their cup final. That was a bit emotional for them, but by the laws of the game, it was right. But
Shattering kids' dreams.
it was a brutal one to do. But I remember having to do that in a cup final. I hope I never have to do that again.
I've had a bad in a welfare game before. We got called offside, and all my players were in my half. I'm like, going to explain that for me. Oh, offside. I'm like, it's not. It's like, all my players are in my half. VO confirmed all my players were in my half. I'll not mention him. I'll let you know who it is after. Right, I'm going to start with you, Megan. Biggest game you've left in?
I suppose most of my games I'm on the line. So I had Scotland Netherlands under 23s
Through Inverness,
a few weeks ago. So that was nice.
Was that? Am I right in thinking that was I was an all-female reffing team?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the first times that's happened, or the first time?
It's the first time I've had a team up north to do one. So it's been nice. It's 3 officials from like the north of Scotland as well. So it's good to show like the talent that we've got up here. I think sometimes we're not forgotten, but there's very few of us in quite a big area. So yeah, that was a nice occasion for all of us to get together and do a good game.
Yeah.
It was nice to do it in Inverness as well.
Brilliant. Stuart?
I wouldn't say biggest game. I've got 3 probably that I enjoyed the most.
Okay, yeah, give me
And
that.
I think they've all been friendlies.
Aye?
Your Elgin City women versus Bermuda 23s women. That was a...
Fuck, they were good.
Aye, they were good. They were really good. I enjoyed that game.
Just something different as well.
It's something you would never expect. Like, when I started, the last thing I thought in my mind was I'd be refereeing Bermuda under 23s, you know what I mean?
And some of them games were not under 23.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Absolutely not. But I've had Cali and Forres at Forres, and then recently I had Devon Vale versus Aberdeen.
Aye, okay.
It was their 17s team that played, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
Big teams. It's what you kind of want
Big
to be
team
doing.
names in it. It's but no, it was good to have.
Aye, brilliant. Harry?
I would struggle to pick between my 2. To be fair, the Bucky Brecon one I spoke about.
Huge game.
It was it's the last 5 years Highland League's gone to the last day, but for it to be 2 teams meeting on the last day, both playing each other, that was mega. And I remember sitting in the morning and Brecon had it up on their social media, like the supporters buses going to the game, and it was like the video of all these buses going. I'm like, this is a big occasion. I mean, you normally got a game and get a few hundred, but
Aye.
I remember walking out and the whole place was packed, and I was like, this was a big game. And I say, thankfully for us, it went absolutely fine. There was no controversy for us, so that was a massive game. So I've done Highland League for the last 9 years, so to get like the biggest game of the Highland League at that time, for me, that was a big one. I'd really enjoyed that. Another one, we've got the Youth Cup final, Hearts and Rangers at Hampden.
Yeah.
That sort of came out of the blue for me, to be fair. I didn't expect that, and I probably should have got my hair cut before it, because that got absolutely destroyed. That probably ruined that one a wee bit.
100.
Turned up on the BBC with a mullet. It wasn't my proudest moment, but I got a phone call during the week saying, we noticed you're actually down for work, but we've got this game on Wednesday night. You're going to be getting the Youth Cup final, Hearts Rangers at Hampden. I was like, all right, okay, I'll make sure I'm available. I'll get that shift off. I should be good for that. And I remember coming off the phone going, I don't know if that's one of these boys on the wind-up. How am I getting... I can't remember who it was that phoned me at the SFA now. I'm like, who was it that phoned me? I'm going to have to wait till next Tuesday to find out when the emails come out saying who's got the games now. But no, it was legit. I ended up with that game, and it's I was actually struggling to get my night shift off. I was due to be a night shift. I'm not missing a chance on a national final at Hampden.
No way.
And it was actually Desi Strong, one of your recent guests. He volunteered to do my shift for me and got me off that night. And in return, I had to work a game when he had a Bucky game. So we worked that together and went down to Hampden to say, Hearts Rangers at Hampden on BBC. It was probably won't get much bigger for me, to be fair, at the National Stadium. That was actually probably a good occasion to be involved in.
Just that haircut. Just that haircut.
Still not living it down, Stuart.
Oh, he'll never live that.
That'll be the thumbnail, Ryan. So if you're listening, you're enjoying this, get yourself involved in refereeing. As I say, you are struggling locally for just a sheer amount of games every week. You know, football's an ever-growing sport in this part of Scotland, especially in the women's game as well. More teams being formed coming up, even welfare, Stuart, amount of new teams that are coming in. A lot going out the way, but still coming in. Yeah, get yourself involved. We're going to leave a link for, is it online?
It's mainly sort of through our Facebook page. You can get the details, or we've got there's an email address. It's MB for Moray and Banff referee course at gmail.com. I hope I've got that right. Okay. But you can email us, and like I say, Will Adams sort of taking on the sort of course side of it from myself, so he'll keep you right with dates and whatnot. Or I say should be a lot of adverts coming through the Scottish FA's own thing. With it now being a national thing, it's not really specifically us you need to look for. You get it through the SFA's website and stuff. So
I've
just have a look.
Grown to probably respect you a bit more in the last couple of years since I moved into Elgin Women. Welfare, you were just, I've had you many times, you're just the enemy.
That's it.
But at the end of the day, we don't have a game without referees. Everyone enjoys football, you know, and it's nothing worse than I've done boys league coaching, having to ref them games yourself, and there's an argument starts on the sideline between two coaches over a decision, and it's awful. So massive respect to you. Thank you very much for the work you do, because it's undervalued, I think. I think £50 a game personally isn't enough for some of the shit you have to put up with. But I'll leave that to your bosses to give you some pay rises, not to deal with me. Thank you for coming on. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Hopefully something a little bit different. I say for us, it was a good chance to try and, I say we've tried all sorts to try and get folk involved. So this was something different as well, to maybe come here and have a chat about it and show that there is another side to us other than just those whistling and giving things that you don't like against folks. So there is a personal side of it and different ways you can get involved and enjoy it. So
yeah, I've never been refed by Harry, but I've been refed by Megan. I've been refed by Stuart. Stuart's booked me before.
Shock.
It was Descent as well.
Shock.
Yeah. But thankfully I'm not one for a booking. It's not my style. I prefer to get, I like yeah. I prefer to try and hook the other manager into it, and then
going for a bite,
get him, and then I'll just shut up, Ken. And that's exactly what happened yesterday, and he ended up getting sent off. But okay, so check the Moray and Banff Referee Association out on Facebook. Harry's just given us the email. We'll leave all the details, and we'll do a good promotion. And plus, you guys are partnered with the podcast, so we'll be promoting this throughout the year.
Even if somebody knows us, then you want to get involved, just get in touch with us. We're all on Facebook. Half the guys out there probably got our numbers as well. Clubs will have our numbers as well. So if there's anyone that's interested as well, that's a venue you can go down. Just give us a text or a phone. I'm sure we'll sort you out.
No, it's it. And as you say, it's not after that 6 weeks you can be involved as much or as little as you want to. It's not like, I have to go and referee 6 games this week or whatever. Quick one before we finish up. It's the most games you've refed in a week?
4 maybe?
4? Stuart, you're probably 4 in a day.
I've definitely done 2 in a day. Probably 5.
Aye.
2 on a Sunday. 1 on a Saturday.
I remember going abroad for one of them tournaments abroad. Went to Spain. You were doing 3 or 4 games a day. It was hard going. That in the heat. That was hard going.
Nah, it's
and if you were out the night before.
Yeah.
As you do. You're only human.
I actually got myself on bother for that one day. We went out for a few beers in Marbella. It was in Marbella, this football tournament, and I woke up the next morning and was due to have, it was a Liverpool youth team that morning.
And
I woke up and it was like 9:30. My game was at 9. I was like, I'm late for my game here. I was like, oh no. And I went down the stairs and everyone had gone. All the referees were staying in one place and everyone had gone. And I went, this is not good. And then went to this last says, it was the bus. She went, the bus is gone. I was like, well, I've missed it. She goes, how did you miss the bus? It's massive. I've not missed the bus and I didn't see it. I've been in my bed. And rather than someone step in for me, I got to the ground through a taxi to that game and everyone was waiting on the pitch for me to arrive. No one had jumped in to save me and I came out to the most sarcastic round of applause ever.
But even just saying there, you get a chance to maybe go abroad, and do these things. You get paid for it as well, which is fucking insane to me. I could coach for 10, 12 hours a week and I don't get a fucking penny. But Chris, are you listening? Right, my last question's always the same. It can be anyone you've reffed, anyone in world football, anyone at all. It could be each other. It could be yourself. One penalty to save your life. Who takes your penalty, Harry?
Not me. Not me. That's a tough one. Right now, if I was to pick, I'd probably go Harry Kane because he's bagging in goals over in Bayern Munich. He'd be my go-to just now, I would think.
Mad.
Don't know of all time. Not sure.
Pirlo.
Aye, he could have a penalty.
Pirlo with Panenka. He had that master there.
Aye, yeah. It's
if I'm going to die, I'm going to die at Panenka.
I actually heard a stat the other day that the most successful penalty is down the middle because the referee, the goalkeepers
always tend
to dive, especially at the higher level. If they stand still, they're useless. One penalty, Megan.
Go safe and say Messi.
Okay.
Wrong.
That's pretty safe.
Yeah, it is. Thanks very much, guys.
No,
appreciate it.
Well, cheers.
Okay.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed that episode of the Football Journals. If you want to support the show and get access to your episodes early, then head over to Patreon, patreon.com/footballjournals, capital F, capital J, where for just £5 a month, you can get access to your Football Journals episodes early, as well as a catalogue of episodes that were released as video only on Patreon. Alternatively, if there's just one episode you cannot wait for without a subscription, you can purchase an episode for a one-time payment. It all goes a long way to helping Lee keep bringing you these podcast episodes on a bi-weekly basis. That said, if you can't afford it, don't worry, you can support the show by watching or listening on the many platforms the podcast is on for free: YouTube, Spotify and Apple. Whilst you are there, if you can leave the show a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple, if that's where you get your podcasts, or leave a wee like and subscribe on YouTube if that's the weapon of choice you have where you consume your podcasts. Make sure you've turned bell notifications on for whatever platform you're watching or listening on, so you're alerted every time that a new episode releases. If you also want to keep up to date with what's going on with the Football Journals, with reels, raffles, giveaways and updates, then be sure to follow the show on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok at all lowercase, the Football Journals podcast. And if you want to get in touch with becoming a season ticket holder, gaining access to advertisement and a free year's Patreon subscription among some of the other perks that you'll get out of that, then get in touch with us either via the podcast socials or email us at footballjournalspod@gmail.com. Thank you for all the continued support and we shall see you in the next episode.